Welcome to News 9. You are watching On Point with me. In the first On Point, we will discuss the rising attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh amplified by the arrest of ISKCON's Chinmoy Das. The second On Point is on the difference between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi's perspective on the Constitution on the occasion of 75th year of Samvidan.
रोज बांग्लादेश से बहुत ही बुरी खबर आती है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हमने देखा कि चिन्मय कृष्ण दास एक पूरे माइनॉरिटीज मूवमेंट का वो फेस बन गए थे।
Hindus are under constant attack in Bangladesh. The arrest of prominent Hindu leader Chinmoy Das in Bangladesh sparked global outrage. Chinmoy Das is the spokesperson of the Bangladesh Sammilit, Sanatan, Jagran, Jote, and an eminent Bangladesh ISKCON leader. He was arrested by Bangladesh police at Dhaka airport on Monday. His bail plea was rejected by a court in Chittagong on Tuesday and he was sent to jail. India has taken a strong stand against the arrest of Chinmoy Das and slammed the Bangladesh government for persecution of the Hindus and other minorities in the country. Let's take a look at the Ministry of External Affairs statement. It says, we have noted with deep concern the arrest and denial of bail to Sri Chinmoy Krishna Das, who is also the spokesperson of the Bangladesh Sammilit, Sanatan, Jagran, Jote. This incident follows the multiple attacks on Hindus and other minorities by extremist elements in Bangladesh. There are several documented cases of arson and looting of minorities, homes and business establishments, as well as theft and vandalism and desecration of deities and temples. It is unfortunate that while the perpetrators of these incidents remain at large, charges should be pressed against a religious leader presenting legitimate demands through peaceful gatherings. We also note with concern the attacks on minorities protesting peacefully against the arrest of Sri Das. We urge Bangladesh authorities to ensure the safety and security of Hindus and all minorities, including their right of freedom of peaceful assembly and expression. ISKCON also appealed to the Indian government to take immediate steps and secure the release of the Hindu leader. They said, we have come across disturbing reports that Sri Chinmoy Krishna Das, one of the prominent leaders of ISKCON Bangladesh, has been detained by the Dhaka police. It is outrageous to make baseless allegations that ISKCON has anything to do with terrorism anywhere in the world. ISKCON, in cooperation, urges the government of India to take immediate steps and speak to the government of Bangladesh and convey that we are a peace-loving Bhakti movement. We want the government of Bangladesh to release Chinmoy Krishna Das immediately. Our prayers to Lord Krishna for the protection of these devotees. The arrest of Chinmoy Das has ignited widespread outrage, with Hindus across Bangladesh staging protests in major cities such as Dhaka, Chittagong, Barisal and Khulna demanding his immediate release. The Bangladesh police used force, including the tear gas and batons against the protesters. Let's play out the bite.
এটি অত্যন্ত দুর্ভাগ্যজনক যে চিন্ময় কৃষ্ণ দাস ইতিমধ্যে সারা বাংলাদেশে বিশেষ করে বৈষম্য বিরোধী আন্দোলনে যে সনাতনী যে হিন্দু সম্প্রদায়ের লোকজনের ভিতরে যে ক্ষোভ তৈরি হয়েছে, যে ওই সময়ের অত্যাচার নির্যাতন আমরা যেটা দেখেছি, সেখানে সারা বাংলাদেশে প্রায় প্রত্যেকটা জেলায় 64টি জেলার মধ্যে অধিকাংশ জেলাতেই সেখানে হিন্দু জনগোষ্ঠীর উপরে এবং ইভেন খ্রিস্টান বৌদ্ধদের উপরেও তাদের ধর্ম প্রতিষ্ঠানের উপরে আক্রমণ করা হয়েছে। এতে আমরা যে তথ্য নিয়েছি বাংলাদেশ হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ খ্রিস্টান ঐক্য পরিষদ, আমরা বাংলাদেশ হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ খ্রিস্টান ঐক্য পরিষদের পক্ষ থেকে এটি একটি তথ্য নেওয়ার চেষ্টা করেছি। সেখানে আমরা 2010টি ঘটনা 1705টি পরিবারের 2010টি ঘটনা, যার মধ্যে হত্যা রয়েছে, যার ভিতরে নারী ধর্ষণের ব্যাপার রয়েছে, যার মধ্যে অপহরণের জায়গা রয়েছে, যার মধ্যে বাড়িঘর ব্যবসা প্রতিষ্ঠানে বিভিন্ন রকম ধ্বংসের জায়গা রয়েছে এবং এটি একটি নির্মমতা। এই ধরনের একটি কর্মকাণ্ড তখনকার সময় হয়েছে। কিন্তু
It is unbecoming of a prime minister of a neighboring country to arrest a spiritual leader. He is not taking weapons, he is not taking guns, he is caring for his people. He is just standing up for the rights and want government to hear the atrocities that is being happening on the minorities there. And arresting a religious priest is not going to do any good to them or to the people or to the country or even the image of Bangladesh. We expect much more from Professor Muhammad Yunus, who has got Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace and security to people, and that's why he has been put there as a Prime Minister. We will not expect him to take such action which would further create more tension between the communities and fear.
A prominent advocate for the Hindu rights, Das has been vocal in seeking justice and protection for Hindus, particularly since the wave of targeted attacks following Sheikh Hasina's ouster. A false treason case was filed against him for organizing a peaceful rally in Chittagong on October 25th against hate attacks on the Hindus. He was charged with sedition and accused of hoisting a saffron flag over Bangladesh national flag during the rally, an act that Bangladeshi authorities claim undermined the nation's sovereignty. His arrest is part of a broader pattern of repression of Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh and the increasing influence of Islamists in Dhaka. The agenda of these Islamists appear to be steering the country towards the ideological path of Pakistan and Afghanistan. I am joined by Radharaman Das, Vice President, spokesperson ISKCON. He joins me from Kolkata. But I have to say this on record, that Bangladesh has descended into anarchy after Muhammad Yunus has come to power, and he has opened space for Islamists. So Mr. Das, are you disturbed at the developments which took place today in Dhaka before I go back?
Of course, actually, we all had a sleepless night for last 48 hours. None of our devotees in Bangladesh and in India, our senior leaders, we haven't slept. We are getting constant call from Bangladesh, and the congregation there, they are very disturbed with this development. We know that Chinmoy Krishna Das, he has become the face of Hindus minority in Bangladesh. We also saw that whenever Hindus came out on the street in large numbers, they were holding very peaceful rallies, just pleading with the Bangladeshi government that their 8-point demand, which include protection and safety for the minorities of Bangladesh, should be provided by the Bangladeshi government. But instead of acting on those demands, the government is filing false cases against those who are leading the protest. Chinmoy Krishna Das, just few days ago, around 4 lakh people, they participated in a rally with Chinmoy Krishna Das. And we all saw that how peaceful that whole thing was, whole rally was. So to arrest the leader who is, conducting a peaceful rally is like instigating the minorities of Bangladesh. The minorities are very concerned. When yesterday he was arrested, then in evening when Hindus were protesting and demanding his immediate release, then they were attacked by Muslim mobs and they were attacked with daggers. Many people, they were hit by the daggers on their head and chest, and they're fighting for their life. Today, when Chinmoy Krishna Das was brought to the court premises, then we saw that how police lathi charged the people who has gathered to support him. We also heard that one lawyer was killed, and now we are hearing that mobs are attacking Hindu places of worship. So we are getting this kind of news every half an hour, and situation is deteriorating. We had lot of hope from Peace Prize winner, interim government head Muhammad Yunus, but where is the peace? We had lot of expectations from him. Today, Ministry of External Affairs, they had also appealed to the government of Bangladesh, and they expressed their concern over the arrest of Chinmoy Krishna Das. We hope that Muhammad Yunus listens to the concerns made by India. Even Donald Trump, he has tweeted about the Bangladeshi minorities, Tulsi Gabbard. So it is the ball is in the court of Bangladesh. Immediately, Bangladesh should act and stop these atrocities against Hindu minorities of Bangladesh.
Mr. Das, it is correct that after Friday prayers, rallies are being organized and ISKCON is specifically being targeted. Why has that happened after the shift in power? Why is ISKCON being targeted so brutally, consistently?
ISKCON is a very big organization in Bangladesh. We have more than 100 temples. Lakhs and lakhs of people, they come to attend a satsang and program. Actually the main after Sheikh Hasina came to India, we saw that on the very first day when ISKCON temple was attacked, our deities were burned. So ISKCON is focused because ISKCON is a big organization, and under the ISKCON umbrella, all Hindus have united. So they are thinking that if ISKCON can be broken, then the Hindu United will be broken, and then it will be very easy for them to finish off remaining 7% Hindu minorities of Bangladesh. They want to make Bangladesh free from any other religious group which is living there. So they find ISKCON as a stumbling block in their whatever they want to achieve.
But yes, that's the correct thing. But my question remains that other temples have been attacked, but they have started to attack in ISKCON places continuously. Do you think it's flowing from the government? Do you think there's a conspiracy against the organization?
Actually, we were surprised when the Chittagong police commissioner, in his press conference, he said that the mob were chanting Jai Shri Ram. It means that they were ISKCON devotees, and ISKCON instigate attacks against Muslims. So statement like this from a police commissioner is very shocking. We know that ISKCON devotees and ISKCON, we also saw that the Muslim mob, they are going and they are protesting, and they are on video. They are saying that they will capture ISKCON devotees, they will torture them, and they will kill them. So this is on video. Things like this, very provocative things they are saying against ISKCON devotees. So this is very shocking that instead of taking action against these people, the government is very silent, and their own police commissioner gives such a statement like this: ISKCON attacks Muslims and all that. Also, that ISKCON is one of the largest organization which serve people in every condition. Like in Bangladesh, there are so many natural catastrophes, and our devotees are always there to serve everyone. They doesn't see who is who, which religion he belongs. So to brand ISKCON as a terrorist organization is the most shocking thing. We saw that how.
But Mr. Das, it's a bhakti movement. People all over the world become part of ISKCON. I remember I was in Vladivostok. I went to ISKCON temple. I had food there. I think I got late. They served prasad. There was a prayer which happened, and then I subsequently went back. It was the East Asia summit. The Prime Minister Modi had gone there. So I mean to say, ISKCON to be charged with terrorism is nothing but ruse. I mean to say, it is nothing else but to attack Hindus. It is nothing else but to make someone a face and then go after them. That is what is happening to ISKCON in Bangladesh. You are making ISKCON a face, and then you are going after its leaders. I mean to say, today a lawyer has been killed and the police charged towards the protesters. So the question here is, so people in India would like to know, since you said there are 100 installations, temples, places you have, which are the areas that are under attack? Is it in the northern part of Bangladesh, Dhaka, Khulna, Chittagong hill tract? Which are the vulnerable areas?
Actually, no place is safe for Hindus now. Everywhere, like Chittagong is a place where most Hindus live, but no temple of ours is safe now. devotees, our ISKCON devotees, they have to lock themselves inside our temples. They only come out in groups when they have to protest. Then only they come out. Going alone is very, very dangerous for ISKCON devotees. So many devotees are very disturbed. Like every day I speak with brahmacharis there. So these devotees, these monks, they have given everything to come to practice bhakti in peace and to serve people. And these people are branded as terrorists, and they are threatened that they will be kidnapped, and tortured and killed. So, and Chinmay Krishna Das' only problem is that he is praying to the Bangladeshi government to give protection to the minorities of Bangladesh. And now we are seeing what the government of Bangladesh is doing to him for demanding this protection.
So how are you going to fight the legal battle, sir? Now people would want to know. Now the violence had taken place. He has been denied bail. Do you fear for his life now?
We are very, very concerned because we know that judicial custody is very dangerous. We know in jails there are so many hardcore criminals, staying. And this is a simple brahmachari. He left his family to serve humanity, and now he's been put with other criminals. And there are so much concern that we know what happened in Pakistani jails when when some people were arrested from India and they were killed by the people inside. So actually we are not able to sleep. We are very concerned for his safety, and we are praying and we are appealing to the government, our government and world leaders to do something, because
who is representing you now? Who is fighting your case now?
There are battery of Hindu lawyers. We saw that they were also present inside the court, but during police lathi charge, many of them are injured. So now, actually, this police action against whoever is coming to fight for Chinmay Krishna Das or Hindu minority, they are being attacked. So this is the situation. Everybody is afraid. Everybody is concerned.
So how are you keeping in touch? Because this is not just the news from Bangladesh. Everyone in India would like to know, because he was detained from the airport and taken back. So how is ISKCON managing it? Who are you talking to? Has there been response from the Bangladeshi authorities, sir?
Immediately when he was caught from Dhaka airport, so one of the devotees who was traveling with him, he messaged me. He sent me a voice message that
he directly messaged to you.
Yeah, and he messaged and he said that Prabhu has been captured by plainclothes people. So we don't know who they are. So he was very concerned because this police officer, they came in plainclothes. And so he thought maybe some terrorists are kidnapping him. So then he later found out that they are police from detective department, and he's been taken. But whole night police didn't give any statement, on what charges he has been arrested. And that devotee, 4 a.m., I asked him, what is the update? He said that, Prabhu, I don't know if he is in Dhaka or he has been already taken to Chittagong. We don't know. We are waiting outside the gates of where he has been kept. So, but in morning we came to know from back gate he was taken to Chittagong and then produced. And we saw, what happened at the
so
court
is there any clarity, sir, on which place is Chinmoy Krishna Das being kept? Is there any clarity? Does he have a lawyer access? Does he have the legal assistance there?
Yeah, we have a battery of lawyers there fighting for him. But these lawyers are
those lawyers safe, sir? Are those lawyers safe for fighting for him?
One lawyer which was in support of Chinmay Krishna Das, he died. He was beaten so brutally. So you can understand what is the situation.
So you are saying, sir, that the lawyer who died because of the ruckus that happened, the police lathi charge, was associated with your battery of lawyers?
No, actually, he was a Muslim lawyer, and he was against whatever is happening to the minorities of Bangladesh. So he was supporting Chinmay Krishna Das and their peaceful demand. This is what I have been told. And in the lathi charge and whatever happened, he was hit in such a bad condition that he left his body.
Mr. Das, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope and pray that Chinmoy Krishna Das has an early release, he gets bail. But going by the nature of the government in Bangladesh and the way Islamists have occupied, I think Mr. Das would really require a lot of support and assistance from friendly countries, because Muhammad Yunus has created space for Islamists. I mean, so even BNP looks like a milder version. And to understand this shift, I will be joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh. But we'll speak to Ambassador Sikri and take a perspective why this shift has happened, why ISKCON is being targeted, one-to-one with Ambassador Sikri, but after a short break.
Truth. Truth can divide a nation, barely born.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps,
Truth can end 400 years of oppression. Truth is never forgotten.
India will awake to life and freedom.
Truth can make you believe in miracles, in magic. Truth. Truth can shake the world, move it, and bring it to a standstill. Because truth sets you free. For a century, we've been the voice of truth. The voice of the nation since 1924.
Welcome back, and let me straight away go to Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh. Madam, very disturbing developments have taken place. I know you are aware of it. That not only Chinmoy Krishna Das was denied bail, but a lathi charge took place, and a Muslim lawyer associated with this team who was sympathetic, he died. Though there is no clarity whether he was particularly targeted, but he died because police, instead of separating people, lathi charged the peaceful crowd who were there to express their support to Chinmoy Krishna Das. Madam, what I would really like to know from you is why ISKCON is being targeted like this?
Well, first of all, I think that the series of events since August 5th have shown the strong views of the Islamist-led, the Jamaat-e-Islami-led government in Bangladesh against the minority community. In the beginning, Professor Muhammad Yunus had tried to make some defense and say, no, it's not communal, it is because they are Awami League supporters and so on and so forth. But all that has fallen by the wayside, and we have seen the attacks on the Buddhists in Khankachari, on the Hindus in Dhaka, in Chittagong, and in Rangpur. In fact, Chinmoy Prabhudas Brahmachari, he had become the leader of the Hindu minority community. He had created his own group, Sammilit, the Sammilit Jote Sanatan, Jagran, Jote, and he was holding these huge meetings all over Bangladesh. His most recent meeting over the weekend was in Rangpur, in the north of Bangladesh, and thousands of people had participated, even though there was no permission, and the meeting had to be held about 5 kilometers away from the city, and so on. I do not know whether it is because of the immense popularity of Chinmoy Prabhu or just the the anti-minority nature of the government. But instead of this meeting was attacked, other meetings were attacked, temples were attacked in Chittagong and in Dhaka. And instead of going after the perpetrators of these violent attacks, the perpetrators of the people who were attacking the peaceful meetings, the very, very non-violent meetings, instead of doing that, they have arrested the leader of the movement itself. And it is amazing they have charged him with sedition, which is absolutely unbelievable, because in each of the meetings held by the Hindu minorities, the meetings led by Chinmoy Prabhu, first the national anthem is played, the national flag is held up high, but now this charge of sedition is making it very worrisome. And the way in which today in Chittagong, the protesters, the Hindu protesters, including the Muslim lawyer, as you have so correctly mentioned, who had come to the courts, asking for the release of Chinmoy Prabhu, and the lawyer, of course, was fighting for the release of Chinmoy Prabhu. Instead, we find that the lawyer himself has lost his life, and the protesters who had come asking for the release, they were beaten up and thrashed in the most merciless way. You have seen the very, very strong statement made by the Ministry of External Affairs, by the Government of India this evening, and really expressing deep concern, deep anguish and agony at these attacks on the minority community, and asking that action be taken. And I think that the view of the global community must be called on this, and that we must really call the global attention to what is happening in Bangladesh. It is going beyond all limits now. And in fact,
Ambassador, you have traveled all over the world. You served in Bangladesh. The question I ask you is something which everyone wants to know. Who is controlling Muhammad Yunus? I mean to say, what are the influencing, operating and controlling him? Why a man whose simple job was to organize elections is actually changing the template of a country?
Yes, it is.
What's your assessment?
Yeah. Absolutely, what you're saying is very worrying, because it is quite right that the job of the interim government, actually the interim government doesn't even exist in the present constitution, and the government is, the courts are trying at best to bring it back into the constitution. But such as it is, the interim government or the caretaker government, their job is only to organize free and fair elections. That's all. No policy matters, no policy decisions, nothing. But this government is insisting that no, we must have reforms first and then elections. And who is asking for reforms? The people want elections. The BNP has asked for elections. All the political parties are asking for elections. But the Jamaat-e-Islami, acting on its own, is repeatedly talking only of reforms and saying we'll have, elections only after reforms. Now, even the reforms, for example, in the beginning when Professor Muhammad Yunus said, yes, I'm going to take action, I'm going to find the perpetrators, in August and September he spoke like that, the ones who are attacking the minority communities, but now he's not even saying that. Now he's saying nothing about the minority communities. He's saying nothing about the perpetrators. He's attacking the people who are asking for reforms. Now the minority communities, they have an 8-point agenda for reforms. They're saying we want a law to protect minorities. The important point is that the young members of the minority communities in Bangladesh today, the Hindus, the Buddhists and the Christians, they are determined to stay on. They're determined to fight for their rights. And that is why you're seeing them turning up in such large numbers, whether it is in the meetings, whether it is in the courts, in Chittagong today to seek the release of Chinmoy Prabhu. The young generation is determined to stay and ask for their rights.
But Ambassador, this is in response to what's happening on every Friday. We have come to know that every Friday after the prayer, the mobs are being incited. They are being organized into a large sort of a procession. And then there is an open talk of how to attack ISKCON properties or to target Hindus. So you are converting a a religious congregation into some sort of a political action, and then you take over the street. This is what has been happening.
Yes, actually, the Jamaat-e-Islami has been doing this all along. When Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was there, she used to even have a very rigid kind of a review of what the mullahs are going to say in the Friday prayers. Even that, to that extent, she had been, trying to curb any views relating to extremism or radicalization, and to maintain a peaceful and harmonious society in Bangladesh, true to its constitution, which mentions secularism and democracy as two of its four main pillars, the other two being nationalism and socialism. And in fact, but now, as you've seen, as they're showing in the visuals, there is a complete move towards Islamism. And in fact, even members of the Hifazat-e-Islam, whose declared job is to protect, bring in Quranic law, they are in the interim government, and the person is also a member of the Islami Andolan Bangladesh, which is the political party. And now we have the special assistant to the chief advisor, Mahfuz Alam, who is known as the key planner and mastermind behind the regime change which forced Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to leave. Even he has now joined the government as an advisor, and he has been written about very widely as being a member of the Hizb ut-Tahrir. So these are all strong Islamist organizations, and the very peaceful demands of the Hindu minority and other minorities, having a Minority Protection Act, having a ministry for the minorities, getting them their rights and so on, all that is being...
Madam, are we missing a bigger picture? I mean, to say it was, it was like we will have a moderate Taliban if we can engage with them, the Taliban 2.0 version, but there is no moderate Taliban. It's an oxymoron. It's like, I will elect him and he's a dictator by choice. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't happen. The Reuters filed a report yesterday, and I read it. It's a report which said that in Cox's Bazar there's a recruitment, turning out to be a huge recruitment ground for the Rohingya Muslims to fight in Myanmar. Are we missing a bigger picture here, where Bangladesh, after a decade or so, is again becoming a recruitment ground? I think people have forgotten the words like Huji,
Yes. No, there is big talk of that the Rohingya refugees who are in large numbers in Cox's Bazar area are being recruited to go into Myanmar and fight. And this is a very worrisome move indeed, because it will expand the whole, range of the conflict, and it will see the situation in Bangladesh, the security situation, worsening very seriously. And this also coincides with a whole lot of traffic by sea between Pakistan and Bangladesh, where the original executive rule, which said that all cargo coming from Pakistan should be subject to physical examination before it enters Bangladesh, even that has been removed. So there's a lot of worrisome trends and developments happening, and the Rohingyas are being enticed to go back into Myanmar and fight, and some are saying when they go back they're being given their citizenship. I don't know what it is, because this is the Arakan army, and the Arakan army control there. It's a very messy situation indeed. But in the meanwhile, we have to really take a very serious cognizance of the treatment of the minorities in Bangladesh, because this is an essential part of the constitution of Bangladesh. ISKCON is a world-renowned organization. I may tell you that way back in 1971, when the Liberation War was taking place, it was ISKCON and the Ramakrishna Mission in Bangladesh, which was the biggest source of relief to all the freedom fighters, which supported the freedom fighters, the Ramakrishna Mission and the ISKCON. And
is this why they're being attacked, madam? Is this why they are being attacked? Because they are being associated with those people who are responsible for the liberation of Bangladesh, and now you have a set of leadership which not only wants to rewrite history but deny history.
Yes, there is a big move among the Islamists, the Jamaat-e-Islami, Hizb ut-Tahrir, to change the history, and they began on 5th of August by bringing down any statues, including Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Anything associated with the Liberation War was brought down, and there were statements made by Jamaat-e-Islami leaders that the whole history of the 1971 Liberation War has to be re-looked at. Now, this was not well received by the people of Bangladesh. There are many people in Bangladesh, especially the younger generation, who value value the liberation war, who value the system, the values, the constitutional aspects of the liberation war, and they want to continue it. So now, on the face of it, you don't have so many statements from the Jamaat-e-Islami and others talking about the liberation war, but you have these direct attacks on the Hindu and the Buddhist minorities. In fact, the Buddhist minorities in Khamdachari, they were not even able to observe their largest festival of the year because of the attacks on them. And so many people from the army were seen attacking them. Soldiers were there in Chittagong against the Hindus in Khamdachari.
Madam, is it correct to say that the BNP is losing ground to the Islamists? The force which was supposed to be conservative in context of Islamist is becoming a marginal force. It's like Haqqanis having a dominant position in the Taliban government.
Well, you know, the BNP and the Jamaat-e-Islami, at one time, they were partners in a coalition. In fact, when I was there as ambassador between 2003 2006, they formed the government. Begum Khalida Zia was the prime minister. But obviously, since August 5th, and particularly since August 8th, when Muhammad Yunus government was sworn in, it is becoming more and more clear that the Jamaat-e-Islami is aiming to form a government on its own. And they are seeking for more time because they want to increase their vote share, which is a very minimal 4 to 5% so far. And they want to increase it more and more. And they're isolating the BNP. The BNP leader, Tariq Rahman, who lives in London for 15 years, has not been allowed to come back yet. And Begum Khalida Zia, as we know, is very unwell and weak and fragile. So it's a clear movement, but the BNP, the majority of the BNP definitely is asking for early elections, and this is building up as another point of clash within society. So this is a very important matter of deep concern, because you cannot have reforms before elections, because reforms have to be enacted by an elected parliament, and there is not right now an elected parliament since the earlier one has been dissolved. So I think that this factor of having elections as soon as possible and free and fair elections should be looked at and pursued very seriously.
Where does it, before I let go of you, madam, where does it leave India? Because one Hindu influx in 1971 had created its own politics and a state of Northeast, and it has spawned various movements, because obviously the Hindu Bengalis had no choice and they had to flee in 71. If this persecution continues, obviously people will flee Bangladesh. What are the Indian choices? What are the Indian options, madam?
The Indian government has expressed itself clearly and squarely in favor of a moderate government in Bangladesh, saying yes, we are going to talk to the interim government. There are going to be talks. I'm sure there will be even consultations very soon, and we are keen on continuing a normal relationship with the interim government, but we are equally keen that the 4 pillars of the Bangladesh constitution, which include democracy and secularism, they are followed, and we are seeing that the people of Bangladesh across the board are in favor of this 4 pillars of the Bangladesh constitution being followed. And even the talk about changing the constitution and so on is not being received very well in Bangladesh. So we must pursue that very strongly. We must call for early elections, and we must unequivocally get the support of the people of Bangladesh and the global community for observing minority rights, and for making sure that this kind of wanton attacks on a peaceful demonstration, this kind of the government of Bangladesh, the interim government, ignoring the perpetrators, ignoring those who are attacking a peaceful demonstration, but in turn, arresting the leaders of the demonstration who have such a huge following.
Madam, did you ever feel in your tenure in Bangladesh that the Hindus will become so vulnerable in future? Or did you ever feel that undercurrent?
No, I think this is the worst moment for the Hindus in Bangladesh. Even in 1971, it wasn't so bad, although so many of them left under the sheer violent attack and the genocide waged against them by the Pakistan army against the people of East Pakistan. Even despite that, there was a great solidarity in the liberation war. Hindus and Muslims and Buddhists all fought together for the liberation of Bangladesh, and so there was a definite solidarity. There have been some riots afterwards, nothing like this, nothing on this scale. And I think the fact that the younger generation among the minorities is determined to stay on seems to have riled the leaders of the Jamaat-e-Islami very much, and that's causing a big problem.
Thank you, Ambassador Sikri, because it's a very worrying situation. And now we are being told that the gentleman has been taken to a jail and the access has not been given to the lawyers. And one of the lawyers who were sympathetic and supporting him died in the clash. So this was a special coverage on the violence that is taking place or raging against Hindus in Bangladesh and the way ISKCON leader has been picked up on the charge of sedition. And it is one case in which even the legal immunity does not function properly. But that was on point 1. Don't go away, because we have on point 2. And in on point 2, we'll talk about the difference of position between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi when it comes to the Constitution, because both on the 75th anniversary of the Indian Constitution articulated their position